I don't think this is necessarily something people normally do, but I'm doing it. I really want to tell you that I'm looking for clients. I'm looking for participants. Right now, I'm running mission round 1. We had 12 people sign up, which is fantastic. I'm holding 8 spots open for round 2 right now. And I want you, not all of you, but you, the one that feels that that's true for you, that you're meant to be in there. And it would be hard for you to get in there if I don't let you in, really invite you that this is happening in just a few weeks. We start November 22nd, and it's an incredible alchemical container, which means it's transformative. Not only do you get full certification, levels 1, 2, and 3, Kundalini, Reiki, Millennium attunement, plus gold and purple, which are excellent for dissolving blocks. And if you know anything about the violet flame, that's related to purple Reiki, this intense power to transmute energy from density to flow. That's our main focus. Alchemy is the balancing of opposites, the rectification of conflict through presencing intention. In the tension. And intention, your attention, the direction of your attention. Bringing information and awareness to the forefront that can rapidly provide radical results through efficiency and effectiveness of applied attention with the intention to feel easier in your life, whatever your life looks like. I was just asking myself, who are the dream clients? Who are the dream participants? It's the people that know that they're close, but still feel frustrated that it is far away. And this flip-flopping between those experiences of being able to taste it and also feeling separated from it. What is it? No matter what details you might apply to it being your dream reality or your dream expression, it is the inner being. It's the optimal functioning as your human self, which is emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. And the relationship between those 4 layers in that particular order equate to your morality. That's something that maybe other people are saying in those terms or other terms, but that's not something I learned from a book. That's something that I downloaded in relationship with the universe through my personal experience. And that has illuminated what ease really means, what high functioning really means. And so when I say Reiki and when I practice Reiki, what I'm talking about is using yourself as a pathway for recycling and channeling energy. And in our highest functioning, we are doing that with ease. No matter what disorder or dis-ease you have experienced or that has been appointed to you in your expression of functionality, reclaiming high functioning that is deeply connected to something that's the same in all of us is a loophole. Why? Because it's reflective of the simplicity that the universe is made of. I heard a channeler recently say, Bashar, that the universe, though seemingly complicated and complex, has to be simple, or else it could not sustain itself infinitely. And it does. So, there is a simplicity at the center of everything, at the center of yourself, and that is what we are tapping into, turning on. And turning on, I mean letting it flow, opening the pathways so that that is what's taking up the space of your presence, of your vibration, your frequency. I think there was a second part of that sentence, but it's really about feeling center as opposed to feeling any attachment. There is a trust at the center of your being that is connected to all things, that knows without a doubt that life is just, that justice prevails, and that we are not in charge of justice, but that we can attend to justice or personal politics by applying ourselves to enable balance between the layers of our beings: emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. In that order, at this time, is essential. And I've been testing this for the past many years, developing through the past 10 to 15 years, and then the past 5 years really testing this theory of dcfo, which is the 4-word framework that guides all of the transmissions here on this channel. Anything that's resonating with you is infused with this transmission of dcfo, because I am living it, breathing it, believing it. And without explaining the whole thing, you get more information in mission or in working with me one-on-one, because it is the structure through which we adapt our lifestyle and that we acclimatize to our own natural flexibility and openness, which is the F and the O, through focus on discharge and circulation. And so my focus for me, for you, for us is discharge, which is the movement of energy, the releasing of stuck and stagnant energy that's been blocking the pathways, which is inherently also reclaiming what's been shamed and dismissed in the system. So it is a very active form of shadow work, of radical compassion, of igniting manifest justice on our planet, in our personal lives, and in our collective reality. And a big part, a really special part of one-on-one work is playing with words. And that comes into mission as well, though in that tight framework of 10 weeks, we don't go into it as much. We don't have as much of a chance to play with it together and really apply it to your personal life, though you do have one-on-one personal access to me in mission. The 9-month one-on-one container is where you can tap into one of my greatest gifts, which is seeing the way energy moves through words and sentences and restructuring your semantics to hold personal boundaries in a way that's completely uncommon and radically effective. And when I say radically, I mean far-reaching, thorough, full spectrum effective. Effective in how you feel, in both delivering or preparing to deliver, delivering, and then being alive after your delivery. I can imagine that you could relate that process of choosing words, whether you're talking to yourself, whether you're in an intimate relationship, children, partner, parents, friends, colleagues, the annoying person that you can't get rid of but have to deal with, all the people that you care about most and the people that you can't seem to get rid of and have to find a way to work with. Taking responsibility for yourself in a way that relieves you and that not only empowers you but also empowers the other. It's my biggest honor these days to be seeing the glory of that applied in my own life over and over and over again. And there's been like 3 really special experiences in the past week that I guess are encouraging me to make this video. Because I want to say, hey, you who are craving, desiring, waiting, wondering, here we are. My dog snarfing at himself is a little bit distracting right now in real life. So I have a client and a friend. Here's some examples. A client and a friend, someone who's in mission right now. but who's been a friend, who is a local business owner, who I care about maintaining not just a positive relationship, but a relationship that feels deeply integral. Because it matters to me that I'm being sincere, that I'm honoring the non-conflict that I'm creating in my own system externally as well. So I asked some hard questions, and in a way, in personally responsible ways that involved a playfulness, that involved detachment from the outcome, though I had clear intention. And it's been miraculous. Asked questions because I was witnessing a dissonance between this person's actions and what I know to be their motivations, sincere, heartfelt motivations, but where were their disconnects? And how could I present that in a way where this person could receive it? Because it's a huge call out. And they said, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for calling me out. And I'm uncomfortable, but I have the skills to be with this discomfort because I'm in mission. And they're like, I just offered myself a bunch of self-love Reiki, and I can hear it in their voice that they are okay with themselves, even in this deeply transformative moment of noticing shadows that could have been passed over, could have been ignored, could have been never mentioned by me. But I mentioned them, and not without the humility that I can relate. And so that's an essential piece of we're able to discharge more and things that have been stuck for a long time, blocking pathways, because we build our capacity for relating to all parts. And that happens in mission, and we get an awesome chance to play with that in one-on-one work over 9 months. Let's say, losing my train of thought. I know there was another piece, but I also trust that everything will be covered. And what I'm here is exposing my passion and just letting you in on more of the intention and possibility, the opportunity of working with me. So discharge is a main part of what we're doing here on this channel in these ASMR Reiki videos. And another example, maybe what I feel like is hovering there that I can't quite touch will come if I tell you another example, which is actually I'm realizing that pretty much all of the examples are of people that are in mission, but they are also people that were already in my personal life. And so I also noticed that it was a majority of the 12 people in mission are people that already had a relationship with me, who already saw the intelligence moving through me and this DCFO lifestyle at work, who already had a curiosity and maybe even an investment in considering me a companion, but also a mentor, and who trusts me to be able to hold both of those things at the same time, which can be complicated. But applying DCFO enables it to be simple. And so if you are a person who's playing many roles, as you are because you're a multidimensional person, then this is for you. And if you feel a fuck yes, then this is extra for you. It's for you right now. So another example is someone who's a mom, a local business owner, and also has been teaching the children of other local people that she is friends with, is like, family level friends with. So a closeness and intimacy, but then also in a professional context where she's running a private Waldorf school. And there is a big shift in her life where she won't be holding that anymore. I'm like, ooh, am I giving away too many details? No, it's okay. So she asked for my feedback on the email, delivering this information to her clients, but also these parents of children that she cares about immensely, the well-being of their families. So, and that brings other layers into it, right? Where you're not just relating to one person, but also to their family, and then also to the community that you're sharing. And so there's many levels all at once that can really rattle your brain and feel stifling, but we can simplify. And so, I got to highlight things in her email where I was like, you are rocking that part. That is so clear. And then, are you offering this because, this part is contradicting what you've already said really clearly? And I believe your clarity there. So let me ask you some questions about why you're adding this part, because there's an energy leak happening there. And part of this choice is because there's exhaustion occurring. And so my understanding is that you really care about not having this energy leak. And so that's one of my skills, is to intuitively read, whether it's a person speaking, sharing, just to read energy and to hear the messages and to be able to configure questions that take a lot of information into account and that call forward a person's own innate knowing of their answer. It's not that I am keeper of the answers or that I'm eager to tell you what to do, but I can call things out in a way that's really able to be received, that takes you to the next level of expression and experiencing through excellent energy boundaries, through excellence in energetics. And that requires active, healthy, active, conscious, engaged discharge. And an example of that is that I heard from her later, and she ended up cutting a lot of the words. And I said, yeah, often like the first few drafts, and I love my notes app, I love email drafts, because we write and it's discharging, and we get to see when we discharge with words, when we have a safe place to do that, we get to see ourselves and we get to see those energy leaks. And it's not about figuring and stressing yourself out finding the perfect words. It's really about using your feeling and sensing skills, which is a different part of your brain, and noticing the incongruities, the inconsistencies, the dissonance, the conflict. It shows us the conflict of parts within. And if we want harmony with others, we need the inner parts to be in harmony. Everything is a reflection of that inner world. That's alchemy. And so, yeah, cutting parts, that's discharge. Discharge is release, is letting go. And there's infinite ways of doing it. We focus on it somatically through the body, like the emotional energy, charged energy meant to be in motion. We find ways that really resonate with you, that feel doable in any given moment, that feel like a great part of your day, that work into your work and play with yourself and with others, that feel natural. Might feel resistance there too, because there is this shadow work of reclaiming this way of being that is our natural way in these human bodies. It is by design that the feeling and sensing skills lead the way, and that the mind gets to relax, and then the whole body relaxes and life relaxes, because we're not relying on this thinking and figuring part to be the primary faculty. It's actually secondary to the feeling and sensing. They're not in competition. They complement really well when we allow them to function that way. And that is high functioning. The high functioning as defined by society is convenient for authorities that need people to stay disempowered. And so this is about reclaiming your power and not fighting for it. Applying yourself, which may sometimes feel like fighting yourself because the parts aren't immediately all on board, but we can have conversations with the parts and play with them and let them build a relationship with each other that is complementary, that is synergistic. And then the synchronicities start happening where you get opportunities to apply these skills in real time. And it feels amazing because you're seeing the results, not just in your own bubble, which feels amazing, but also with the people that you care most about, or with the opportunities that you care most about. It's thrilling. And it's the essence of thriving. Letting this expand and ripple through the areas of your life, that is thriving. And another example is I really had this strong intuition to ask my co-parent, my kid's dad, a specific question. And I actually didn't ask it right away. I forgot. And then a few days later, I did let myself ask it in text message. And so this man, my co-parent, my kid's dad, is also in mission. And I love how that speaks to the quality, the attractiveness of this offering, that he would line up to pay for it, because he has free access to me all the time. And we have been working on this together for years, reflecting with him, inspired or enabled the download of DCFO, and then the playing with it and the need for it. Because we're very neurodivergent in very similar ways and in very different ways. And so finding a common language was essential. And getting underneath the verbal, which is from this front part, and into the nonverbal, because it's the nonverbal where we can meet, where we are the same, and where we have a great amount of woundedness and like giftedness. And so being able to slow down and get spacious, to be able to use our words, to be kind to both the woundedness and the giftedness at the same time, that's something that we've developed the capacity for over the past 5 years. And so the question that was coming to me, and when I say we, it is me that is very passionate about processing and organizing this information and holding these frameworks so that our life can flow through them, which is applied masculine, divine, high quality masculine elements, so that we can be surrendered and have access to the high quality experience of divine feminine. The feminine is that feeling and sensing part, and the masculine is the thinking and figuring part. And so, I love to give my co-parent credit, because I don't know that I ever would have been able to have this experience had we not been in this intense situation together, of needing to work together in both being so desiring of breaking generational curses and cyclical abusive patterns, both very subtle and some very obvious. And that's what this does really naturally. In the shadow work element of it, it is attending to the very subtle but all day, everyday ways that we've been trained to abuse ourselves, that perpetuates that feeds expressions of interpersonal abuse, that then that's what's creating the strife, the suffering, the war, the major stressful challenges collectively and in our intimate lives. So he signed up because we have a deal that we are always supporting ourselves in numerous ways, in at least 3 ways. And we have a deal that we are living the DCFO lifestyle, which requires, it just naturally consists of being actively involved in our own lives in ways that promote DCFO, discharge and circulation, for flexibility and openness. And it's easy to build stability and stamina with DCFO, and because it's not the majority expression, experience, lifestyle of our intimate community, definitely not our families of origin, not even our friends, though we're collecting people in our personal life now, magnetizing people that do resonate, that have been figuring this out for themselves and are practicing, and that are open to reflecting together, to asking the difficult questions, to doing the practices, and that's worked into our fun, our entertainment, our pleasure, our passions. It's easy when you don't have that to slip out of it, no matter how hard you're working on your own. So the community aspect of mission was a big piece for him. And then also learning Reiki. We're all natural healers, but that focus was something new to him that hadn't entered our exchange before, though we'd been playing with DCFO. So I asked him a question that was uncomfortable, and that years ago I would have been very likely to ask it in a completely different energy that contained a lot of fear and accusation, assumption. I asked him, he saw his family of origin at the end of last week, and it was for a funeral. And so those are both things that are likely to be quite triggering for him, not necessarily obviously, but deeply, because there's, in the core patterning, there's trauma. And that's true for a lot of us. And so When we're triggered, it's not always necessarily immediately obvious, but it kind of sets off a chain of events in our own system, and then the obvious shutdown or aggression comes later. But been really noticing and claiming it as one of my gifts to be able to attend before it's obvious, be able to ask the questions before it's completely obvious, to others, instigating, inviting their attention, their attending to, and to love is to attend, which is to extend yourself towards, which means you're not giving it all away, but you are expansive. You're able to meet the moment, you're able to meet yourself, meet your parts, meet another. So I asked the question in reminding myself that I don't know the answer. I could take guesses based on some things that I ended up observing over the weekend, in both him and my kid, and feelings in myself, and that's where we can get to. Playing with energy, playing with DCFO is where we really notice how much we're overlapped with others, how the emotional and psychic realm those are boundless territory. And so when we're talking about boundaries, that is a big part of it. And that's been a really rejected part in my experience of life, of people, is this rejection that when you are an open person, when you are a sensitive person, that you tend to siphon rejected energy, rejected thought energy, rejected feeling energy, because all energy is looking for is to be grounded, is to be allowed to be in healthy circulation, recycled. And so if other people are dismissing it, storing it, shoving it down, it comes through the pipeline, to be grounded by those who are open and doing their own grounding work, letting thoughts and feelings pass through. And so this overlap territory is precarious and a major challenge for us, all of us. And even for me, being very deep into this work in an everyday, devoted way, that still gets me sometimes. And so being really intentional, being present in your own body and energy bubble is the best protection for the exhaustion, the burnout, the meltdowns that can come from the natural overlapping of our emotional and psychic realities. So that is a major part of mission, and a major part of working one-on-one together is really claiming your presence and learning, acclimatizing to stretching your awareness and presence through your territory, which is your body and your energy bubble. That is your realm, it's your domain. That is the only place you have any semblance of control. And your control is your relationship to thoughts and feelings, which defines your flexibility and openness. And how we can say that in other words is it defines your sense of stability, safety, security, and your expression of those things, which also equates to your level of compassion, inwards and outwards. And compassion is naturally detached. We've, most of us, grown up and been groomed in a world where love and caring is filled with attachment. And that entangles and enmeshes and just really, really emphasizes, exaggerates, inflames the overlapping of emotional and psychic realities. and people are fighting for their individual identities and their stories. Meanwhile, they're just a tangled mess. So this is offering to disentangle and to really come into your sovereignty, which feeds harmonious interdependence. And trauma sets us up to be stubbornly independent, which is not at all the same thing as sovereignty. So to wrap up this story and this video, he answered, and it was awesome because this is a person who has been very defensive and who for the first many years of being in each other's lives used so few words, and finding those words was so difficult and so slow, and just I could see that it like hurt to try to find the words to communicate his experience. And like, it's flowing, baby. It's not always the easiest, and sometimes it does get backed up if there isn't that attention on attending to things before it builds up. Like, these triggers are deep in the emotional and psyche experience. And so noticing patterns through observation, and that's a major part of why it's 9 months for a one-on-one, because we have the opportunity. I can have a conversation with you and pull out information and point to some things that will be completely useful for you in one shot. But it's not the same level that I can offer you as over 9 months. Because seeing subtle patterns that circle, that are emanating from the center of stuck emotion or of patterns in the psyche, that's one of my gifts. And I love applying it for people. And what's been being proved over the past years increasingly, and in these 3 examples from this week, is the effectiveness of the effectiveness of delivery that enables receptivity and empowers. And so what I got back was a long message. And he's been really honest lately about like, hey, I'm struggling to find the words, or, you know, I won't hear for days. And it's like, I was feeling really frustrated, and so I left it. But this came fast, where he narrated, which is a major skill that we play with in both mission and working one-on-one, is getting into that feeling and sensing part of the mind so that you're observing, and so that you can narrate the movement of energy, sensational experience, and the conversation between the parts. So he told me what he did do and what he had been noticing, but then acknowledged, I actually wasn't completely conscious of any of this until you asked me the question. Thank you so much for asking me the question. Where a few years ago, it was like, don't ask me questions. What are you, the thought police? And it's like, oh my gosh, how far we have come. And like, I think you can probably relate to it being so meaningful. Like, the things that are so meaningful that you want the most can often be the hardest or feel the furthest away. And so I just share this with so much celebration and imperfection, but that we are really meeting our intentions, and that we are offering our kid an experience of ourselves that, we still have to feel grief and guilt and shame, because sometimes we are living embodiments of the shitty patterns we inherited. But we have the skills to slow down, notice, acknowledge it, apologize authentically, both inwards and outwards, which provides this spaciousness for playing with the parts and orchestrating different outcomes. So we are living, in many ways, our dream reality. The intentions that we set out to both not to do things differently in a way that shoved away our parents or our experiences or our memories or our feelings, but to really honor all of those in a way that still allowed us to evolve and to do things differently. And so if you're someone that's resonating with that intention, this could be for you. I'm so freaking honored. What I just heard is I'm so freaking honored to be myself this lifetime. And I want that for people. And that has not been my experience for that long. So much confusion, heartache, heartbreak, just not even really wanting to be here and not knowing why I was here, or and having a really hard time believing, even though there was this natural believing, because believing, like optimism, positivity, is the natural state of all of our inner beings. And so I'm so grateful that was, for whatever reason, burning strong enough in me that I didn't get lost to the experience of feeling lost. And so if you're someone that rides the edges, whether you sign on for any of these things or not, know that I feel you. I still meet those edges, but I meet those edges with different tools and different, there's a strength. When strength comes through repetition. And so a lot of shitty stuff has been repeated, probably. Lots of trauma, subtle abuses. And so it's really gaining power over that. And not through getting rid of it, it's not this, we're eliminating the conflict. And so it's really embracing, approving, accepting energy in all of this work. It's really stroking the ego in a big, big, big freaking thank you for its protective efforts. And so being able to meet ourselves at the edge of our known universe, at the edge of our sanity, at the edge of compassion, the razor's edge of compassion is this place of being able to hold multiple truths at once. And so this inner alchemy that is present in all of what I've just mentioned strengthens your capacity to stand on those edges and let them expand further, so that you can feel sane, stabilized, secure, safe in realities that you have not yet experienced this lifetime, maybe for many lifetimes. So that you can anchor, you can harvest and harness in an anchored way your flexibility and openness to let your dreams come true, whatever they are. And if this is interesting to you, I really fucking want to know what your dreams are. So you can comment, you can email me, you can schedule a quick call. If this is interesting to you, if you're just like, I just want to talk to you, schedule a call. You don't have to, it's not really a sales call. I'm not going to pressure you, because the right people, the people that are meant to be in those containers with me are out there, and I trust the magnetism. And part of making this video without a script, without even really, like, I just had the idea and sat down and did it. 1:11 a.m. while I'm recording this. Drank coffee middle of the afternoon, which honestly isn't a part of my intentional lifestyle, but sometimes it happens, and so I am making the most of it. Because to be honest, I have enjoyed this conversation with myself. I love the energy flowing through me. I love what I've noticed. And if that leads me into connection with people that can benefit from my natural abilities and the natural abilities that I've gained access to, more and more access to through stroking my ego into like retirement mode, which is to say like lounge mode, like ease. When you want ease, that means that your ego isn't dead, it's lounging because it feels safe, because you trust yourself. That's what we're going for. And that's what we can access. I have mega confidence. So I'm going to leave it at that. I love you. I love me. I hope that's obvious in a way that breeds permission. That's my intention, is to expose myself now at this point in a way that says this is possible. And I am an everyday person who has been through the things that enable me to relate to you. I promise you that I can relate to you, whatever you're going through, and that is one of my gifts. And that I've used my relationship with somatics and semantics to bring that capacity to relate, to see and hear and hold, to be present with you in your full spectrum human expression. A few years ago, I wasn't comfortable. I wouldn't be making this. It would feel much more rigid and planned, and I would be selling something. This is an invitation. This is saying, yo, yiggity, yo, my people, I know that you're out there ready. And I'm ready to receive you. And it feels like I am finally ready. And I'm so glad about that. I am so glad and honored and excited, eager to receive you and to be of service to you, your people, your life, and to impact our collective through this work with myself and with each other.